And I feel I've created a very unique thing in theatrical history in this country by introducing original products. They can't always be the greatest, but out of it we've had several hits. And I think you have to have that kind of courage. I mean, anybody can take a musical, and anybody can take a Shakespearean play, and anybody can take a Neil Simon's comedy, and all they have to do to make a decision to do that show is to write to New York and say, we're going to do the show. Send us the script, send us the music, send us... Everything comes in a package. It's like buying cornflakes. It's right there. All you have to do is be a smart director and do a good job on it. When it comes to original musical theater, you have to work very, very hard to make it, first of all, work, basically just work on stage. With the right kind of timing, the right kind of orchestrations. Everything is new, you see, and creating the character for the first time. And that's what happened with Anthony Davis. Okay, when holding auditions, what is your criteria for selecting dancers? If I'm holding a general audition, which is an audition without any particular show in mind, in other words, if I'm examining the dance scene, per se, for future kind of thought, then I'm merely going after technique and appearance and build. What a lot of dancers don't realize is that you can't appear well on stage unless you have a good dancer's body, you know, and dancers who are fighting that kind of thing would be wise to look elsewhere in their career, because they may become a brilliant technician and they're going to fight that all their lives, because most shows, you're not only auditioning for the choreographer who is there at the time looking at your dance technique, you're auditioning for maybe a producer or somebody like that who has money in the show and is not the least bit interested in technique. That's your problem. He's interested in what the person's going to look like in his show, and he's just liable to say, and I'm being quite brutal now, I'm sorry, but, you know, we can't have her. She's got a terrible face, or her teeth aren't good, or she's too fat, or something like that. It's really very hard for dancers. Now, when you...
Technique, are you looking mainly for ballet training?
No, ballet and tap and jazz, an all-rounded technique. So that, and a person who is very musical, if they can't work to the music or they have no really keen musical instinct, then you're going to have problems when you put them in a show, because you're working on, in show music, very syncopated beats and odd phrases and things like that. Then when you come to an audition which is for a specific show, it depends on what you want. For instance, in a recent show I've done, Fauntleroy, I know that they're going to perform a very elegant waltz in Dorincourt Castle. So I'm looking for quite tall dancers with a great deal of grace and a great deal of poise. So you look specifically for that kind of thing. And you're not going to look for short dancers at all. They also, in that show, have to perform a big 4th of July parade. So you know that if somebody is going to dance the Statue of Liberty, she has to be very statuesque and have the right kind of carriage. The Irish cop has to be a good tap dancer, so you're looking for that kind of a dancer. The boys who dance the Spirit of 76, again, tall, and with again an all-round technique. They have to be able to do ballet, they have to be able to do jazz, and they have to be able to tap. That's the most important thing for any dancer, is to be very versatile. Now, you come to a show like Anne of Gables. If I'm only doing Anne and nothing else, then I'm looking for dancers who have that kind of effervescent look. They have to play children, so they have to be very young looking, and they have to be quite short, because they're going to be playing on stage with a girl who preferably is 5 foot tall, who's playing Anne, and the girl playing Diana is going to be 5 foot tall. So you want them really in that age range. It can vary a little wee bit. So it's a question of what you're auditioning for and what the types are. And unfortunately, the dancer auditioning doesn't know that. They merely come in and think, I'm here because I dance well. But another very important thing looking at an audition is that you're not deceived by the type of clothes they audition in. You know, if they come in to do jazz and they're wearing a straight classroom balletic ensemble and ballet shoes, they're not going to do it as well as the girl who comes in a very sharp kind of jazz outfit and dances in the right kind of shoe. That's important. Or if they try to tap dance in a ballet shoe, then you know they have no tap training. I mean, there's 100 little giveaways.
Yeah.
But the thing is to be prepared, and also be prepared with some kind of variation in each department, because the choreographer may say, I would like to see something that you do yourself. Sometimes that's a good way to audition, because the person is confident in that, and they usually have put in all the things they do well. And if they're able to sing a song, all the better, because they're going to have to sing in the show anyway.
What will I find in this newfound land? Folk of what kind in this newfound land? Will people wear a smile, be happy all the while? What will I find in this newfound land? Who will I find in this newfound land? Who will be mine in this newfound land? Will she have tossing curls like laughing homeland girls? Who will I find in this newfound land? What if I'm lost in this newfound land? Find to my cost it's a barren strand. Too late for blundering, that's why I'm wondering, what will I find there to do? Will I find somebody new? Will my new love be true in this newfound land? was a time in this fair land when the railroad did not run, when the wild, majestic mountains stood alone against the sun. Long before the white man and long before the wheel, when the green, dark forest was too silent to be real. But time has no beginning and history has no bounds. As to this verdant country they came from all around. They sailed upon her waterways and they walked the forest tall, built the mines, mills and factories for the good of us all. And when the young man's fancy was turning to the spring, the railroad men grew restless for to hear the hammers ring. Their minds were overflowing with the visions of the day, and many a fortune lost and won, and many a debt to pay. For they looked in the future, and what did they see? They saw an iron road running from the sea to the sea, bringing the goods to a young growing land, all up from the seaport and into their hands. Look away, said they, across this mighty land, from the eastern shore to the western strand. Bring in the workers and bring up the rails. We gotta lay down the tracks and tear up the trails. Open your hearts, let the lifeblood flow. Gotta get on our way, cause we're moving too slow. Get on our way, cause we're moving too slow. We are the navvies who work upon the railway, swinging our hammers in the bright blazing sun, living on stew and drinking bad whiskey, bending our backs till the long days are done. Behind the blue Rockies, the sun is declining. The stars, they come stealing at the close of the day. Across the white prairies, all loved ones lie sleeping. Beyond the dark ocean, in a place far away. Tir sali lener talov Zvanach amian sunam Konen einen tir nun veil Zich echt am ogelig gan Ni mirandos war nun glannen Suche breden tir mogrei Tirnen gruvenen ventunet Suche breden tir mogrei Tir sali lener talov Oh, brochenlam, tanalam, brochenlam a suan Brochenlam, tanalam, brochenlam a suan Brochenlam, tanalam, brochenlam a suan Brochenlam, se tanalam, se brochenlam a suan Brochenlam, tanalam, brochenlam a suan Brochenlam, tanalam, brochenlam a suan Brochenlam, tanalam, brochenlam a suan Brochenlam, se tanalam, se brochenlam a suan Brochen, tana, 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 brochenlam a suan Brochen, tana, 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 brochenlam a suan Brochen, tana, 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 brochenlam a suan Brochenlam, se tanalam, se brochenlam a suan Brochen, tana, 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 brochenlam a suan Brochen, tana, 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 brochenlam a suan Brochen, tana, 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 brochenlam a suan Brochenlam, se tanalam, se brochenlam a suan There's a song, a loving arts, nay, a song of money faith. There's nothing but a piece of fun, there's nothing but a funny. But there's Highland Scots and Lowland Scots and butterscotch and honey. If it's nothing o' them all, well, it's a mixture of the three. There's nay worth the beast, braw, salmon, salty bannocks, banana pies, eggs, peas, meal for them we dig the stomachs. It's all about a meal and ale that happened up Kilmarnock. McGinty's meal and ale for the picket on the spree. They were howling in the kitchen like a caravan of tinkies, aye, and some were playing ping pong and tiddly widdly winkies. Up the how and down the how, you never saw such jinkies as McGinty's meal and ale for the picket on the spree. McGinty's big recluse, and he wandered there the low before he opened up the press door and summoned on the toddy. The beast took ainly to the stuff like on the human body. At McGinty's kneeling dale for the pig on the spree. Miss McGinty, she ran, but the whole way it was dark and crooked. She went house to Gowdy or the pig, but her she never looked. She didn't pay out, that would paralyze a jugget. At McGinty's kneeling dale for the pig on the spree. They were howling in the kitchen like a caravan of tinkies, aye, and some were playing ping pong, tiddly widdly winkies. Up the how and down the how, you never saw such jinkies as McGinty's kneeling dale for the pig on the spree. For they were all in the kitchen like caravan of tiggies, and some were playing ping pong, tiddly widdly winkies. Up the how and down the how, you never saw such jinkies as McGinty's kneeling dale for the pig on the spree. At McGinty's kneeling dale for the pig on the spree.
I don't know what you're talking about. Here, that's for Luke. I'll finish off the rest of these bags. You see, you mark them in the book right and proper after I'm gone. Do you think you're a fine lady now, do you? My God. Sometimes I wish you'd never learned a damn thing.
You shouldn't be dancing with all them girls. And you keep away from that dummy.
The dummy?
I saw you taking in her legs.
Oh, Stella.
Well, one thing she couldn't tell on you. Keep away from her if you're marrying me.
Then you quit mooning around the doctor.
Cider.
That's what we need now. Let's get you one.
All right, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for the big jig contest. And the judges are Father Shaughnessy and Madame Louisa McKee. And the first contestants are Andrew McPherson and Hazel Maloney.
Whenever you're properly seated, Mrs. McKee.
I've been properly seated all my life.
Angus McIntosh and Sheila Mackenzie.
MacDonald.
Oh, preserve me. I thought the place was deserted.
I brought Belinda home. She wasn't feeling very well. I've made her lie down.
In the middle of the day.
Has she been eating regularly?
As regular as the rest of us. She don't fancy her food none these days. Nothing's good enough for her.
Miss MacDonald, Belinda's sick. That's why she hasn't any appetite.
She doesn't do enough to get up an appetite. Not since you made her father take over the mill.
I only told him not to have her lifting those heavy sacks.
Well, what do you think she is? A hothouse flower?
You're not very fond of Belinda, are you?
I was civil to her till you started making a lady of her.
Well, she may be needing your help.
My help?
You're the only woman she knows. And I think Belinda is pregnant.
What?
I'm almost certain.
Oh, the poor wee creature. Oh, you don't know what this will mean to my brother. I think he'd be like to kill her.
Oh, come, Miss MacDonald. She's hardly aware enough of life for it to have been her fault. But we must be sure before we tell him. My bag's in the rig. I'll be right back.
What have I done to you, poor wee dummy? Who do such a thing to a creature who can't even call? Men have no thought for the harm they do us. It's only themselves they can think of when they think at all. We bear them in sorrow and watch them grow up into selfish young savages. Yes, for the sake of a thrill they'd ruin a girl as a badge of success. When they marry, it's only because they need someone to make beds, get meals, wash dishes, sweep up, and pick up after them. And put up with their bullying day in and day out. And for us, there's no end. What have they done to you, poor wee lassie? What brute could do this to you? No, you can't even cry. Men have no thought for the harm they do us. There's nothing for women but carrying on till we
What's the matter with you?
Oh, nothing. I'll get your dinner.
Well, it may be your last. That's all the mill's brought us in a week. I cannot feed an extra mouth the way things are going.
Oh, here now. Wait a minute, child. I'll do that later.
Why should you do it? What's wrong with her?
She's got a sick headache. The doctor told her to lie down.
Lie down. When do I ever get a chance to lie down?
Will you please leave her to me and the doctor?
Why should I leave her to you? She's my daughter. You never get anything right anyway. Well, what's the mystery?
There's no mystery, man, if you'd use your eyes. The doctor said she's going to have a child.
What?
There's no use trying to keep it from her.
Great God almighty, what swine done it?
Now, John, hold your
Tell me,
temper.
what kind of a father do you think I am? Who's been at her? She's never off the place.
You don't have to go looking for trouble.
The child.
Gentle, John.
Listen, child. Who is it that's harmed you? Who is it that's hurt you?
She don't understand you,
Don't be
man.
a fool, woman. She had the bell right there in the mill if there was any trouble with anyone. Oh, she understands all right. Hand me the old account book from the mill.
Skipcoat.
Die the humbug! Now then, who was it? Was it him?
How can you
Will
tell
you
from
shut
the...
up? Is one of them McGuigan's come? Guinness? Or O'Keefe? McCormick, is it him that had you? Or there's the book, pick the man! Pick the man! Or by God, I'll beat it out of you!
Oh, George!
She'll name the man and I'll know why!
Mrs. Wilkins welcomed him, a faithful servant she, as did Bridget, his sister, whom he always liked to see. His long and weary journey had filled him with fatigue. And this begins our tale of unbelievable intrigue. On entering his chamber, he could scarce believe his eyes. What he saw there was small, but not at all a small surprise.
A babe is lying in my bed.
A babe is lying in his bed.
A babe is lying in my bed. Who can it be, and why was he lying in my bed?
Who can it be, and why was he lying in his bed?
Come hither, Mrs. Wilkins. Are you the mother, pray?
I'm a 53 Squire Allworthy, but thank you anyway.
Please don't look at me that way. I'm not the baby's sire. My instincts have been dead too long, and so is my desire.
Who can he be, and why was he lying in his bed?
Who can it be, and why was he lying in my bed?
There has to be some boy and girl or some kind of connection.
His child is not a product of immaculate conception.
But here he is in flesh and blood. There aren't any maybes.
The stork could not have brought him here. The storks don't believe in babies.
Can he be, and why was he lying in his bed?
He's got a twinkle in his eye. That certainly means trouble.
The twinkle means you better change his diapers at the double.
Pray give the babe to me, good sir. Place for him I'll find.
Oh, do not take the boy from me, for I've made up my mind. A son is what I'm longing for. Too long I've lived alone. And I intend to raise this boy as if he were my own.
A son, the squire has a son. 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 He has a son, the squire has a son. The squire has a son.
The squire named the baby Tom, the same name as his own. But Thomas had no surname, for his parents were unknown. The next day, Mrs. Wilkins found out who was to blame. The mother was Miss Jenny Jones. Now, Tommy had a name. The news spread all around the town, and Jenny's name was Mud. The cats were there, their claws were bare, and they were out for blood.
Jenny Jones!
She's a fly in the ointment of our parish, and the flounces that she bounces are too garish.
She's guilty of deduction, illegitimate production.
Jenny Jones, Jenny Jones, Jenny Jones.
Every man knows exactly where her house is. She's been stealing stolen kisses from our spouses. We don't want her kind among us. She'll corrupt our very young uns.
Jenny Jones, Jenny Jones, Jenny Jones.
She's a lecherous, treacherous harlot. She can't keep her petticoats down.
She's always been a sinner, and we know the devil's in her, so we're going to drive her out of town.
We are God-fearing people, pure and pious, and we cannot have a harlot living by us. She is morally unstable
and immorally too able.
Jenny Jones, Jenny Jones, Jenny Jones.
And this trollop should be walloped well and tortured.
She's a woman of deception and illegalized conception. Jenny Jones, Jenny Jones, Jenny Jones.
We interrupt to introduce a mercenary pair. Tom and Bliffle's tutors. Mr. Thwackum, Mr. Square. The tutors always hated Tom, and they took Bliffle's side. So the trio came to Allworthy and truly falsified.
I'm Thwackum.
I'm Bliffle.
I'm Square. And Thomas Jones is getting in our hair. We love him like a brother and we love him like a son, but for his own salvation, something must be done. We didn't want to tell you when he stole that sheep,
And he betrayed your trust.
he gave that sheep to your own king. We didn't want to tell you, but we must. We didn't want to tell you what we saw one night that filled us with disgust. We saw him in the grass being sinful with a lass. We didn't want to tell you, but we must. I'm Bliffle.
I'm Thwackum. I'm Square.
And Thomas Jones is getting in our hair. We love him like a brother, and we love him like a son, but for his own salvation, something must be done. We didn't want to tell you how Sophia cried.
It was then he showed his lust.
He tried to take away my promised fiancée. We didn't want to tell you, but we must. We didn't want to tell you when he got so drunk.
In my face, his fist he thrust.
You should have seen him plastered, the high and mighty. We didn't want to tell you, but we must.
I'm Bliffle. I'm Thwackum.
I'm Square. And Thomas Jones is getting in our hair. We love him like a brother, and we love him like a son, but for his own salvation, something must be done.
My name is Mrs. Waters.
Your servant, ma'am, Tom Jones.
Oh, what a cozy inn we found to rest our weary bones. How can I thank you? What can I do?
You honor me too much, madame. I should be thanking you.
Oh, yes. Oh, sir, you do me honor.
The honor, ma'am, is mine. Your lips are more delicious than the lobster or the wine.
How can I thank you? What can I do?
You honor me too much, madame. I should be thanking you.
Oh, sir, blow out the candle.
Madame, without delay.
Allow me to reciprocate for what you did today. How can I can I do?
You honor me too much, madame. I should be thanking you.
Oh, sir, you're so delightful.
And you are so much more.
Oh, Mr. Jones, I hope that you securely locked the door. Oh, can I thank you? What can I do?
You honor me too much, madame. I should be thanking you.
My granda was nothing if not industrious. And as he used to say, where there's a will, there's a public house. Oh, terrible stuff. And he proceeded to demonstrate, if not the strength of his will, at least the strength of his thirst, by drinking enough of the whiskey to fill the teapot, let alone the teacup, and inevitably chuckled his way through this wee song that by now I was most acquainted with. His love song to the whiskey.
I am a weaver, a Carlton weaver. I am a rash and a roving blade. I've got silver in my pockets, and I follow the roving trade. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy. As I went in to Glasgow City, Nancy whiskey I chanced to smell. I went in, sat down beside her. 7 long years I loved her well. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy. The more I kissed her, the more I loved her. The more I kissed her, the more she smiled. I soon forgot my mother's teaching. Nancy whiskey had me beguiled. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, oh. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, oh. Come all ye weavers, ye Carlton weavers. Come all ye weavers, wherever you be. Just beware, Nancy whiskey. She'll ruin you like she's ruined me. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, oh. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, Nancy, oh. Oh.
The heaviness of my heart at leaving my home lightened with each step I took in the newfound beauty of the mainland. And I walked, and I walked, and I walked, and I walked. And as I continued to walk, I realized you can do a lot of bloody walking in Scotland. But I did get the odd lift from a passing cart. And within about 3 weeks, I was getting very near my destination of Aberdeen. And I was congratulating myself at my strength of purpose at keeping to my road, when early one morning I met. The wind, it was howling, o'er moor and o'er mountain, and wild was the surge on the dark rolling sea, when just about daybreak I met a young lassie who asked me the road and the miles to Dundee. Said I, my young lassie, I canna well tell you the road and the distance, I canna well gie. But if you'll permit me to gang a wee bitty, I'll show you the road and the miles to Dundee. At once she consented, she gave me her ear, but ne'er a word did I speak who the lassie might be. She appeared like an angel in feature and form, as she strolled by my side on the road to Dundee. She took the gold pin that she wore at her bosom, saying, "Here, take ye this in remembrance of me." And bravely I bent, and I kissed her sweet lips, ere I parted with her on the road to Dundee. My heart was at once captured and broken on this road to Dundee, as I found that my bonny Jean was going there to meet the family of her uncle, and with them to take transport to Canada. I was so full of this lassie, and by the way, she seemed fair fond of me, that I would have pledged to follow her to the moon. But to Canada? My God, man, it was the other side of the earth. So the parting was terrible, and I didn't know whether I had found a rope or lost a mule. A perfect portrait of a young man in the throes of his first heartbreak. And I certainly enjoyed it as much as I could. We thought the wedding would be a small affair. Just Jean's family, whom I had come to love so very much in the 12 short months I had known them. But it seems the celebration of a marriage in this new Scotland was as loath to go unnoticed as it was in the old. And even brief or passing acquaintances chose this occasion to form and strengthen good friendships. And Jean and I wore the tartan that the women of Mingalay had woven and sent out for the occasion. And in my hand a bit of paper acknowledging the mistake made in my conviction back home lay in the pages of my favourite book, my granda's ledgers. 3 very special wedding presents. And 10 months and 4 days later, Robert Gordon was born. And if you're wondering about the delay, it took Jean and I a while to get used to the climate. And if another man had ever known such happiness, he was as unable as I to communicate it. For the sweetest of poetry could not capture what I felt in my heart. And the first years brought a bounty of God's gifts. With financing from Jean's uncle, and the skills at shipbuilding I had learned from my daddy, I was able to establish a trade that brought security to my wee household. And in September of the following year, my wee household was made a wee bit bigger with the birth of my darling baby. And 22 months from that, my precious Heather was born. And the house was full of the laughter and cries of wee ones. Oh, and Jean and I were like weans ourselves with the joy of them. I can hear Jean's voice even now, high and sweet, as she would sing to them at night in their cots and cradle.
Ali Bali bee, sitting on your daddy's knee, greeting for a wee Bobby, to buy some Coulter's candy, to buy some Coulter's candy.
The winter was severe that year, and relentless. And on New Year's Day, 1853, the harshness of the climate and the illness from Heather's birth 3 months before silenced my Jean's voice. At least to all ears but mine.
Look over your shoulder and watch what I do. You'll learn to get bolder. I'll feed you the cue. I'll set the example. Just copy your pal. Look over your shoulder and up your morale. Take the cream of the Navy crop. We can swing it, you'll see. We can take it right from the top. Just you trust in me. I finished the briefing and you got the gen. Remember the chief thing is knowing just when. No need to grow older, no need to despair. Look over your shoulder and I'll be there.
Blues on the run. Sing, boom, tarara. Sing out a song of good cheer. Now's the time to roll the barrel, for the gang's all here. Roll it out, roll it out, roll up the barrel. Dum dum da 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 da. Sing a song of good cheer, 'cause the whole gang is here. Roll it out, let's do the beer barrel polka.
at night fade before you, then I'll have the right to adore you. Let your kiss confess this is happiness, darling, and put all your dreams away.
Your aunt's consent, you will lose your fortune. I know. No pretty clothes, no pretty jewelry, no pretty underthings, no pretty makeup. Not very pretty. I know. Oh, but why are you purposely casting aside all material things?
Because love, 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 love will do. I don't have Yorkshire pudding to go with my beef. Love will do. If I don't have fancy pills for relief, love will do. If I don't have clotted cream for my scone, if I don't have vials of eau de cologne, love, sweet love will do.
If she don't have hazelnuts to go with her chips,
love will do.
if she don't have Bristol cream for her sherry flips,
love will do.
if she can't afford a roof up over her head,
If I can't afford a coffin when I'm dead, that's okay, 'cause love will do.
look at the boy, she's in love with romance. Wouldn't you just love to dance with her?
I don't need no Yorkshire pudding to go with my beef.
'Cause love will do.
I don't need no fancy pills for relief.
'Cause love will do. She don't have clotted cream for her scone. She don't need vials of eau de cologne.
Yes, I know.
Sweet love will do.
I don't have no halibut to go with your chips.
Love will do.
I don't have no Bristol cream for your sherry flips.
Love will do. If we can't afford a coffin when we're dead, if we can't afford a roof up over our head, come rain or shine, that's okay, 'cause love, sweet love. That's okay, 'cause love, sweet love. That's okay, 'cause love, sweet love.
Malaprop, that Akers is not, perhaps, the most desirable bachelor available to your niece.
Oh, alas then, Sir Anthony, I have no idea with whom my niece could tie the knot of holy matricide.
Ah, may I make a suggestion? A simple suggestion.
Go ahead, Sir Anthony. I myself have none.
A solid suggestion for your mental digestion. Mrs. Malaprop, I propose.
Yes?
My son.
Your son.
Good Jack.
Who's Jack?
My son. I will speak to him. My son is a captain. He's a good boy, a fine boy, very much like his father.
I'm sure he's a good boy. I'm sure he's a fine boy. But, Sir Anthony, I don't think it's worth the bother.
No bother at all.
No bother at all.
No bother at all.
No bother at all.
Without the shadow of doubt, without any question, you must admit Jack's a brilliant suggestion. My son is a captain.
Your son is a captain.
He's a captain in the King's own regiment.
Save the king.
A sterling example, an excellent sample of the perfect son. The father's own accomplishment. So Mrs. Malaprop.
So Mrs. Malaprop.
So Mrs. Malaprop.
So Mrs. Malaprop. Without the shadow of doubt, without any question,
my son is an absolutely,
positively brilliant suggestion.
Sir Anthony, tell me,
my son is a captain.
without showing any disaffection, you know that he's young, but he's got your tongue. So what happens when he raises an objection?
Objection! Let him object if he dare. No, Mrs. Malaprop. Jack knows that the least pout puts me in a frenzy directly. My process was always very simple. In his younger days, 'twas Jack, do this. If he balked, I knocked him down. And if he grumbled at that, I sent him out of the room. But my son is a smart boy.
Your son is a captain.
And he's smart enough to heed his father's voice.
I'll save the king.
He'll be joyously glorious, both happy and glorious, especially when I give him no.
Stairs are treacherous. I think someone's trying to kill me. Falkland, my old friend.
Oh, by the way, Mum, there was a gentleman upstairs to see you. Shall I show him down?
He's down, simpleton.
Very good, Mum.
How are you, Jack? Or is it still Ensign Beverly? Still Beverly to my Lydia, Falkland. Oh, Jack, why don't you convince her to go off with you at once? What? And lose 2/3 of her fortune? Oh, no. You trifle too long, Jack. Propose to her, woo the aunt, and get Sir Anthony's... your father's consent. You are aware of Miss Lydia Languish's peculiar, singular taste in these matters of love. She prefers a lowly, humble, half-pay ensign, namely Beverly, to a wealthy captain in a distinguished regiment, namely Jack Absolute. Oh, whoa. Ah, yes, Falkland. But what of your own love, Miss Julia Melville? I have not seen her, my dearest Julia, these several months. I fret for her safety. I lose sleep over her health. I am distraught with worry over her well-being. I have been away from her for far too long, Jack. I love her so deeply that I am in constant pain. You know that she is here in Bath? Nay, Jack, do not trifle with me. Good Falkland, within this very hour she has arrived here in Bath with my father, her guardian, Sir Anthony Absolute.
These steps are treacherous, but don't worry. If I hurt myself, I'll pay. Oh, Jack.
Bob Akers, my old friend.
Good day, Jack.
Oh, by the way, Mum, there was another gentleman upstairs to see you. Shall I show him down as well?
He's down, simpleton.
Very good, Mum.
You are my friend, aren't you, Jack?
Of course I am, Bob. And it is only because you are my friend that I would ask a favor of you.
Oh, anything, Jack. You don't hate me, then?
Not yet. My friend over there, Mr. Falkland, has been away from his lady love, Miss Julia Melville, for a considerable time, and he frets constantly.
You live near my father, her guardian's place in Devonshire. Perhaps you can assure him as to her, well-being?
But of course. I'll do anything for my good friend Jack.
Good Bob. Mr. Falkland.
Miss Melville's Falkland.
The same. He is worried on the health and spirits of his lady.
Aha. She enjoys good health and spirits. Never saw her better in me life.
And not just a little on the pale side.
Never saw her better in me life.
I've heard she's been a trifle sickly, just a little bit indisposed.
Fault, sir, only said to vex you.
Just a little indisposed.
She was the picture of perfection.
Damn.
Joyous and feeling fit.
I believe, sir, it bothers you she wasn't sick. It doesn't bother me a bit. It doesn't bother him one iota. It doesn't bother him a bit. But in the absence of one's lover, slight melancholy wouldn't disagree. Have I been joyous, lively, entertaining? I acquit you of all three.
The lady is so accomplished at harpsichord and song.
She sang when absent from my soul's delight.
Not quite wrong. She sang a song that meant a lot to me. It was, my heart's my own, my will is free. What's the matter with this fellow?
He's only happy to be reassured.
He's only happy to be reassured that she was the picture of perfection, joyous and feeling fit.
If music is the food of love, it shouldn't bother you. It doesn't bother me a bit.
It doesn't bother him one iota. It doesn't bother him a bit.
You should have seen her dancing.
Dancing?
Sir, what then? It's society's obligation to dance.
And I suppose that she danced with men.
Oh, come, sir.
All right, I'll accept a dance to a minuet.
What a prig.
I'll have you know she minuets very well, my friend.
She's even better. At a country jig.
A jig?
A jig.
With men? With men. Oh, no. Oh, no, no.
a picture of perfection, a smile, a charm, a wit.
He's happy, she's so happy. It doesn't bother me, it doesn't bother him. It doesn't bother me, it doesn't bother him. It doesn't bother me, it doesn't bother him. A bit!
or even stamp. Or when you put them both together, it's beyond compare. I like to croon a mellow tune, and when we sing together, it's sheer delight. And that's why I'm standing here. Surely it's crystal clear. We're singing and dancing tonight. I like to be up here and cares or worries, just a crazy spree up here. And though I thought up here, it's kinda hard up here. It's better than the feeling when I'm not up here. We like to sing, we like to dance, we like to sing this crazy song. And if we could, you know we would, we'd be singing and dancing, singing and dancing, singing and dancing, singing and dancing all night long. I'm down to get you in a taxi, honey. 8:30. Don't be late. Band starts playing. Remember when, honey? Dance off both my shoes. Play General Blues. Tomorrow night. Downtown Strawder's Ball.
There are many pretty maidens that are quite renowned, but you're prettier than all the rest I've found. And the folks always say on that certain day, you're the loveliest one